What's going on YouTube? Centex Collector here with another finished 3D project. This time for the MOBAT in Iron Grenadiers colors, black and gold, a little bit of red. This thing took me about a good week. I'll post the hours and filament, and the main thing was the tracks, but we'll get into that. But this thing was designed by a guy over in Europe somewhere, and he released it on Colts 3D. Designer's name was WillFree. He hadn't printed it all, so the community stepped in. I found out about this model on Facebook group, on 3D Printing JoJo groups. And then thanks to Ron and Ted and Cappy, gave some help and guidance along the way to help me get mine completed. So there's a handful out there that are in the works and or completed. So the biggest thing is, the lesson I learned is do not, because I didn't glue the skirts on, I glued this back part on. As you can see, I had to pry it up, which kind of sucked. I had it nice and level, but I had to pry this up. Thankfully I hadn't glued the skirts on, because you have to put the wheels on first, and it's twofold. I used aluminum rods as axles, and I'll show you there's one size for small wheels, because there's 4 wheels at the cogs on the front and the back, and then 2 small wheels here, but they're the same hole, and then the 5 big wheels have the same hole. So 2 different rods, but 9 rods total. So I'll show you all that later. The tracks, these tracks were individual sections, 90 each. So I had to do 180 of these pieces, and I did it in TPU, and I think I'm the first and only one to do it in TPU so far. I will not be doing that again. So the designer, Ron, went back to the designer and told him, hey, you can just do one big loop, which wouldn't fit my printer anyway, the bed, so I'd have to use it on my Anycubics. It's a big loop, so I did this in 115% upscaled. I think the original model was 100%. Ron did his at 125. I settled on 115. Probably could have went a little bigger as well, because the bat fits in here, but I had to move his holster. So I based it, like most of my prints, I based it on the seat. So the figure fit at 110. I was like, let me do 115. I still had to slide his holster to the back of his leg to get him in this tube. But the detail in this thing is just awesome. Again, this is based off the original MOBAT. I think that's from like 83, 84. And then all these, like this skirt is one part. And then so you had 18 wheels on both sides. Next time I would, well, if I did it for myself, I would do these. I may ship this off to Benny, we'll see. There's 2 skirts, and then the tabs for me worked really well. I had to use like a small rubber mallet to bang the tabs in to get that to work. So it was one, I don't say issue, but one thing. The TPU tracks, they snap together really well, but that probably took me like 3 days just to do all the TPU tracks. I was gonna do Cobra, but then I decided, let me do black and gold for Iron Grenadiers. You can see this stupid gun. I had to like take the rotary tool, and I don't know if it's just not in there right, or I took too much off when I put it in there. I might have to put some clear nail polish in there and get it to stay, because this one you can kind of see in there, you could push it in, as with this one it had circular holes. So he should have designed it the same way as this bottom cannon, where there's a piece in there you can see like empty per se, and you could push the cannon in, like slide it in, and it would stay. Should have did the same thing there. For whatever reason he didn't. Great details. So you could always go back over with a gold acrylic marker or paint or whatever. This cap comes off, but nothing's gonna be able to really fit in there. It's more for show, so I should probably just glue that down. And I printed another cap to put on top of here if there's not a figure in there. And then this turret was 2 pieces, and then the radar was a separate piece. Again, you could go back, you could paint stuff on here if you wanted to. But you can see the full rotation. It almost goes all the way around. does it? No, it gets stuck right here because of that piece. So you almost have a full rotation on this top piece. There are two pieces here glued together. And then these clips. So there's rings, you have to print two. So you print, there's a ring with like tabs that you put in, and you print another ring, break all the tabs off so you have like a lift or like extra elevation so you can actually get the movement on here. And then this tube, once I put, because I broke some of the tabs on this one, once I put this tube down in there, it kept everything in place. Kind of same with this too, because even though I broke the tabs, it's not shifting around. So this tank is just awesome. From the tip of the cannon to the rear, I think I measured it, it was like 19 inches? No, not 19, it's 24. And then it's like 11 across. This thing's just huge. I'll show you later how it sizes up to the hiss. It would have rolled, but I accidentally, I mean, you can see there it would have rolled, but I accidentally, and I just popped a track. So you can see there, that's where the track comes in, and that's why I'm not a big fan. Yeah, so you can see, there's the part that I snapped off that I forgot to. So here you can see that's how the track is set up. Thankfully I popped it here and not somewhere else. Let me put that back together. But you see how that track snaps together. If you've seen my TikTok videos, if you're watching my progress. So yeah, I wouldn't recommend trying to roll this one since you've got, like I said, all these individual tracks you just saw. And it didn't help, like I messed up and I put too much glue. So here's a better view of the track. So I have rods running through, but I messed up and put too much glue on some of these, you can see. So some of them won't turn freely. So it was a mistake on my end. But this thing is massive. It's definitely a display piece. And here's the back, and don't mind, like I said, I had to pry this all up, so don't mind this mess back here. I created this, Ron and I worked together, and I created this, because this was so tight, so I dropped this 1%, so I could easily pull this out, and then that's where you can see, did this in gold, because I didn't want, but there's all the aluminum rods going across from the wheel. I felt that was better than having the, and I broke that tab off in there and I forgot to get it out. Yeah, so here's the tab. It's got like 5 or 6 tabs on those little O-rings. And when I broke down in there, I forgot to grab it. But anyway, you can get your hand actually all the way in here too. And I was scared that that tube was gonna hit the axles, but I had clearance. So put the trunk back in there like that. Pop this in, and this was one whole piece. So yeah, lesson learned for me, make sure you test fit everything before you start gluing stuff together, because you want to get, I went with the aluminum rods. I didn't trust, again, the axle, same thing. You would want to make sure, because I had all this glued together, so I couldn't even go with the PLA axles if I wanted to, because you had to push the axles from the outside, or excuse me, inside out, the way they're designed. So you try to push them outside in, and they too had tabs. They would just snap. So yeah, you want to get the whole wheel assembly taken care of first before gluing everything together. But yeah, that's it. I mean, it wasn't a whole lot of parts you got. And then there's three body parts. There was the rear, the middle, and the front. You would glue all those together. 2 skirts, this piece, 2 here, this piece, this gun, the cannon, the tube. Yeah, it wasn't a whole lot. It was just 180 tracks. I probably won't do that again. Especially I can see that you couldn't roll them if you wanted to, because they just like pop apart. But overall, I mean, this tank, there's the hiss. Kind of see it better. So it doesn't dwarf the Hiss. Obviously it's wider than the Hiss. And the Hiss is taller. But yeah, this tank stands its ground with the Hiss. It's just the, obviously the cannon's gonna exceed it out. And then just a Hasbro Stinger for another comparison. But yeah, this thing was super fun to build. Thanks to the community like Ron and Ted and Cappy for helping me out when I got stuck along the way. 3D print community for Joe's. It's so great. Even 3D printing community in general on TikTok. But this is an awesome thing. Obviously more display due to these tracks for me, or if I give it to Benny or somebody. But definitely looking at printing another one just because all the lessons I learned, I can make my next one a lot better. Print quality came out great. And like I said, for the designer, WillFree, not even printing himself, basically just design it and left it up to us to print it and figure it out. That's what we did. But yeah, there's the Iron Grenadiers MOBAT 3D printed. All bamboo filament. Charcoal matte. Gold basic. Bamboo. I'll switch over to bamboo gold to see how it'd work out. Then dark red matte, and that was it. Just the 3 colors. And then the figure, like I said, I had to move back the holster to fit the figure in there. And then you can put that cap on if you were just displaying it. And there's the tube. But yeah, there we go, guys. 3D printed classified scale tank. I know Ramen Toys made one, but whatever, theirs is different. Like, comment, subscribe, JJ out.